Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joes podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Hey there, everybody. What did we do last week? I'm looking back. We had a good show last week, didn't we?
We had a show.
Oh, I don't think Todd remembers it, but yeah, we
Ventures
had a show
and
last
Adventures.
week.
Todd was very sick.
That's right.
He was on a lot of cold medicine, but he's hopefully getting better.
We can all hope.
Yeah.
Rebellions are built on hope.
This is true.
That's what I hear.
It's true.
This is by someone who does not look like Princess Leia. I think she told me that once.
Yeah.
We got a show today. I think we have a big show next week. You'll have to hear about that later. We're going to a secret location. We mentioned that last couple weeks, but we are going to a secret location. It's not Skywalker Ranch.
It's not Skywalker Ranch, no, but it's equally as cool.
One
It's
of my
among the
favorite
top
places
5
in the universe.
Fun places to go. In the universe?
I haven't been off
That we
this
said?
planet yet, but yes, it's one of the.
Well, I'm just saying.
One of my
I mean,
favorite
I guess
places in the
as
universe.
so far with only planet Earth to judge, it's one of the best places in the universe. I would say so.
Yeah.
Ryza, close second.
Again, have not personally experienced that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Oh,
that'll
I
be
went there
fun.
with Vosh. It was fantastic.
Okay.
Who's Vosh?
You don't
I
know
wanna
who
go
Vosh is?
No, I want to
Vosh.
go with Dax.
You know who Vosh is.
Vosh was Picard's little girlfriend on Ryza.
I'm sorry. This is short for vagina.
It broke up
Maybe.
It broke up his marriage too. So
What are you gonna do? Anyway, but today we're gonna talk. You know, there's good and bad on this show. So we're gonna talk about Star Trek Section 31. We're gonna talk about the Fantastic Four teaser that just came out, and you don't have to watch the World Series to see it.
that's right.
Or the Super Bowl.
Or the Super Bowl. Or whatever hockey has.
That's
Stanley
the Stanley
Cup.
Cup. Yes.
What else is there? Basketball. It just has the playoffs. Which makes no sense.
Well, they call it the final. Yeah.
They gotta come up with something. It should be like, like Amazon should, the Amazon Cup.
Or like Hoops of Fire or some kind
Hoops
of
of Fire. If they were on fire, maybe it'd be more interesting. But anyway, so you don't have to, you can almost watch all the commercials if you watch the morning shows. So anyway, but or just go on YouTube and check them out. But we'll do all that stuff. Let's go some random. Barry, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to take us on a little musical journey just because I was very entertained. I didn't watch the Grammys this year, but I was entertained by some of the people who won. And since I'm the music guy on the show...
Oh, I thought you were saying Kanye's wife's outfit.
No. That was a whole other thing. But I just wanted to make sure you guys knew Beyonce won the Grammy for Best Country Album.
Which
I heard
makes
that.
her
Go figure that.
makes her what?
What?
The first black artist to ever win the country album. Which is pretty amazing.
But it also makes her the first, non-country
Well,
artist.
crossover artist. She's done a lot of genres. So
She's a crossover like Shania Twain crossed from country to
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
pop. Why
okay.
not go
But
back
that's
the other
still
way?
that's
Fine.
pretty significant
They're
to be
really-
that far into this, and yeah, for that to happen. So
There were
I'm fine
legitimate
in that
country
I don't
artists that
care
didn't
at
win
all.
this award so that Beyonce could win.
Yep.
And then
okay.
to me, this is like, let's get in a time machine, people, because the Beatles won the Grammy for Best Rock Performance for their song Now and Then that was pieced together with AI, and the Rolling Stones won the Grammy for Best Rock Album.
Jesus.
So is there
just
no
shows you
new
who
artists
cares.
ever left on the planet that the Stones and the Beatles are winning all the Grammys?
And people said that song kind of sucked anyway.
It wasn't great. It was okay, but it was a
Not even real.
scraps of recordings that were mixed together by AI.
Just think about that. Okay, long after we're gone, there'll continue to be episodes of the Regular Joe's podcast.
Fine, maybe
probably
we'll win.
more entertaining than the ones we do.
AI
now.
will just be slicing
spoken
together
word.
odd bits and commenting on Marvel movies we never got to see.
And somehow AI will still be making fun of me for loving Willow, so that'll be a
Yes,
constant. I'm sure.
Let's just say that that's been said more.
In fact, Dave and I outside recorded 30 additional hours of picking on Willow, just so that in perpetuity it continues
so
to be
you can
spliced
feed
in.
the machine.
Yes, yeah.
I saw a Willow because what was it? Warwick's birthday, so I saw some Willow.
Yeah,
things
I saw that too. Phil
social
Tippett
media.
and Tippett Media or Tip Tippett Studios was wishing him a happy birthday.
There you go.
Because I'm not the only one out there that loves that movie. Just saying.
He does because it's a constant paycheck for
That's
him.
right.
Yeah. Well,
Got
Todd, what do
$12
you got?
last month. So, what's the date today? Do we know what date today is?
February 3rd.
February 4th.
February 4th.
Which means it's 1 month.
1 month before some
Daredevil Born Again.
thing.
People, I'm telling you, it's so close. Okay.
Will you throw yourself off a low building if it's horrible?
I don't think I could ever acknowledge that it's horrible, but we'll see. It's not going to be horrible. It's going to be amazing. So,
What if the Ben Affleck movie's better?
you're just being mean now. Okay.
Don't pick
So,
on Todd.
AI will have something to talk about.
So, other thing, okay, multiple reports came out today that there's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer sequel series in the works
I had that.
Sarah Michelle
that too.
Gellar. And I this has come up a number of times. I've been very against the idea of doing anything without her, but her as the, kind of mentor of another Slayer, I think will be brilliant. Anybody who hasn't seen this series, it's all out there, people, and it's amazing. We have seen a lot of things in the last 25 years as a result of the series. It's inspired a lot of things. It was clever. It was funny. It was very cool. We took the idea that basically potentially the victim and turning it and made her into the defender, and it's like I said, it's just great, and it actually does hold up in a number of ways. So I'm really excited to see what they do with this. I will say the creative attached to this directed a film called, what is this, Eternals? I don't remember that, but
Oof.
I'm sure I'm sure other people will be involved. But this just sounds very, very cool. And exciting. Because like I said, there's a lot of potential people that were in the show before that could be, guest stars and have, recurring roles.
Dave, did you watch Buffy?
I've never seen a second of it.
I haven't either.
Yeah. I tell you, it is great, and it is a tremendous fan following even today, and for a very, very good reason. And like I said, we wouldn't have had Supernatural without Buffy. There's a number of things like that followed in the tradition of that show. But again, a lot of things with a female protagonist that we had previously. We had Ripley and things like that, but these were people that conveyed strength. This was somebody who looked like a strong wind would push her over, who could take down anything. And it was just great and continues to be. And I'm really excited, and I hope they do this well. The one other thing they said is Joss Whedon will not in any way be associated with this. So I always thought that was going to be the obstacle to doing anything moving forward with this in any way, because he did create it. And
They probably cut him a check to keep him far away from
probably
it.
bought the rights.
He may not have owned the rights.
She very famously said she is proud to be associated with Buffy Summers. Sarah Michelle Gellar said, I'm proud to be associated with Buffy Summers. I would not say the same thing about Joss Whedon. So there's no love lost there. But
this guy was a jerk to everybody.
I think it's more a matter of supporting the people that he was a jerk to. So, yeah. Anyways, but it's like I said, really interesting, exciting news, and very, very interested to see what Hulu does with this. So,
cool. I saw a thing. Barry, you may have seen it on Tested. So Adam Savage has an R2D2 that he's had for like 20 years. I guess he's built it and rebuilt it, and it's going to the Smithsonian.
I did see that, and I
Yeah.
was lucky enough to see that R2 at his cave before he packed it up and shipped it, and it's an amazing replica because he said in the video he had the real R2-D2 sitting next to his desk when he worked at ILM,
yeah.
and he eventually was like, well, it's right here. Why don't I take measurements off of it? So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's dead on accurate. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's going there. It's I guess it's a new exhibit. I don't recall the name of it, but I guess it's going to open sometime this year. But that's pretty cool, and it's on loan for 10 years, which is interesting. So that's how they sort of do their collections when they borrow stuff.
Well, and it's worth watching the video on Tested because he talks a lot about the process of getting it out there and what damage it may or may not have.
I cannot fathom that it got damaged. I don't know what did you pack it in cardboard boxes? I mean, but anyway.
I don't know, but it's worth watching that whole story.
Yeah, it's a cool
not a long
video.
video, but it's worth watching the whole thing.
And he's been a proponent of the Smithsonian for years and years and years, but now is on the board of advisors or something too. So that's cool. That's they are. I don't know if it's in the DC one or the Uvar Hazy.
No, he said
one.
it was the DC one. He mistakenly said that it was the Uvar, and then he said, no, it's just regular Air and Space.
I went there about 2 years ago, and it's in the midst of a multi-year renovation. There was not a ton open, so hopefully I'll probably be there sometime in the next few months. So I don't know if it's more open than it was, but they're doing a big renovation, so I'm sure this new exhibit is part of it. But that's cool to see. Like a guy like they could take any R2 and probably R2s that no one has a connection to, but he's a guy who's definitely connected to.
Well, he said that they reached out to him saying, "Hey, do you know somebody who might have one we could borrow?" And he was like, "Yeah, I have one. You can take mine." So they weren't necessarily looking for his; they were just looking for a really good, accurate one. And he was like, "Mine's great. Take it."
Yeah, that's awesome. That just reminded me of another R2 thing. I don't know if you saw any pictures from. They had the Saturn Awards the other night, and so. Friend of the show, Michael McMaster, had his R2 there. So they have an R2. And then other friend of the show, Gordon Tarpley, was there as C-3PO as people are cycling past. And I think the cast of some of the cast of Strange New Worlds posed for pictures with R2 and 3PO and stuff. So that was really cool.
I'll have to look for that. I didn't see that.
I didn't either.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, it's on. I saw it on both their feeds.
Okay. I must have
It's
missed
funny.
that.
I was watching TV, and I guess the Saturn Awards were on Roku. So I have never really watched the Roku channel. It's sort of their channel that they put stuff on to make you watch ads, and it said Saturn Awards. So I clicked on it, and no offense to we love sci-fi, but the Saturn Awards are certainly no Oscars.
No, it's pretty dry.
Very dry, incredibly dry.
Yep.
It was
the Oscars aren't even what we remember the Oscars being anymore. But yes,
not unless somebody gets slapped. But
yeah.
So, yeah. Anyone else? You have more stuff? Anybody?
And I got one more too.
Barry?
So I just wanted to mention, some of the big conventions that are coming up later in the year are just starting to announce guests. And Terrificon, which Dave and I went to last year, which was really fun, just announced their first guest, and it's my girlfriend Haley Atwell. So
I have a picture with her, so I don't know.
And that's
if
fair,
she's your
like
girlfriend.
next week or something, right?
No, it's not until August.
August.
I'm just saying, all of you get any ideas you have out of your head.
7 months.
She's mine.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of shows, just to jump in, MegaCon is this weekend in Orlando. None of us are going. Friend of the show, Eben the Collector, is going because he lives down there. But what a guest list! I mean, I don't know if you've seen. They have some. Check out the guest list, and if you're anywhere near where you could get to it, it's a huge show just based on the guest list. So, him and his crew from Spice Runners Lounge will be there, and I think they'll do a show from there and a show probably afterward. And again, another shout out to them. They mentioned my new website on their show this past week, which is much appreciated. But give those guys a watch Friday nights on YouTube. But I'm curious to really see the MegaCon.
Oh my! I'm looking at the guest
footage.
list now.
The
Holy
guest list
cow.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson is doing it.
Yeah.
Is that like maybe his first convention ever?
He's got a new job too. I understand. So
yeah.
don't-
Well, wow.
But
I won't read this, but this is a great guest list.
it's an awesome guest list. So that's always a big con. But yeah. So Todd, what else you got?
okay, I don't often recommend comics, but I'm gonna tell you there's the current comic running right now, which I am really really enjoying, and it is Batman and Robin Year One by Mark Waid and Chris Samney. Back in like 2011, the two of them collaborated on a Daredevil run, which took Daredevil for being, Daredevil tends to be dark, and it took it from just being in a pit of despair to being much lighter and fun again for a period of time, and it really revived the character. This is a look at Batman and Robin and Arrow. We have not seen them for a long time, and it's just pure fun. You got a brand new Robin who's just like irrepressible, and it's basically Batman, Robin, and Alfred in that prime era, and it's just been a joy to read. The 4th issue just came out, so if you interested in it in trade, we're probably 2 to 3 months away from the first 6 volumes issues being collected. But again, Batman and Robin Year One, and just a really good read. Batman comics are hard to read right now because they tend to go like year-long plus story arcs. Every single one involves some huge threat to Gotham City because apparently they're following the Arrow model. These are not self-contained stories, but easy to follow stories that, like I said, are just it's pure joy if you're a Batman fan. So I highly recommend it. So if you're off the new stuff, this is a nice nostalgic thing.
Cool.
Dave, I just wanted to jump in real quick. So what's really funny on the guest list for that convention that was at MegaCon, the all 4 kids from Skeleton Crew are going to be there. But what makes me laugh is that the three of them have their actual faces shown, and the kid that played Neil, they have a picture of Neil. They don't have his face.
Really?
As they should. No one's going to know who this person is.
Because nobody would know who he is. But
Yeah. Jude Law's going to be there too.
yeah, it looks like they've got a lot of the cast from Skeleton Crew, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Those kids are going to be signing autographs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're going to be
Oof.
busy.
Child labor laws.
I
know,
hope
right?
they have a Neil maquette sitting on his table or something like that, so people don't.
Meanwhile, that kid's the only one who was in some. He was in that movie Dear Santa that just came out this Christmas with Jack Black, which was horrible, but he was basically the lead in it, other than Jack Black. So he's the only other kid that's really recognizable.
has any acting credentials.
Yeah. So the only thing I had, there was Ghostbuster sneakers are going to be available. There's this company, Fun. I thought they were Converse. They weren't. I was a little more excited about that, but there's a Slimer one. There's a Marshmallow guy one, and then there's like a Ghostbuster, like the tan with the patches and stuff. But they made. There were Slimer Pumas that came out. They cannot be gotten. I would have bought them. They were suede with like Slimer on the bottom of them.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, that would have been cool. But they're unable to be gotten. Like the Alien Romulus.
Yeah. Sneakers are a whole.
Reeboks.
We're not even in the game on sneakers. There are so many people that are.
It's a whole nother thing.
Yep.
Do you ever watch? And I do watch it. There's this channel, Complex. I think it's the channel. But there was the like going shopping with so and so to buy sneakers, and it's everyone from like Mark Wahlberg to Shaq and just all kinds of people. There's always, but it gets millions of views. I always watch it because there's people with deals and they'll only buy certain ones, and there's people who are heavily into sneakers, and then they take them shopping at these places like Flight Club. that have all these sort of aftermarket stuff, and then like, oh, you bought 5 pairs, it's $87,000, like crazy money for some of these sneakers. It's just nuts, but yeah. But you know who's not nuts? Fanboy Collectibles.
Right.
Check them out. What? Someone said something.
I said that's right.
He
That's
was
right.
acknowledging your toss to
Sometimes-
fanboy.
Just announced Exo 6 Boimler. So Boimler, when he was not the cartoon, but on Strange New Worlds, they're making a figure of that. That's pretty cool.
Proof positive that they go deep.
They go deep.
Yeah.
Well, talking of deep, Deadpool and Wolverine Blade. So we've had Deadpool, we've had Wolverine, we've had Nice Pool, we've had
Lady Pool.
Lady. Did they do Lady Pool already?
Yeah.
Lady Pool. Now Blade. We're hoping for Electro.
and Human Torch.
Johnny Storm.
did.
Oh, and Chris Evans. So anyway, they are going deep. So Blade up for pre-order. Iron Studio. There's a bunch of statues: Deathstroke, Juggernaut, Masters of the Universe, and Pops and Sideshow and Hasbro
MODOK.
and
You need a big
everything.
MODOK head. They got it.
Yeah, they got everything you need. You need to go check them out. FanboyCollectibles.com. They got a store in Newtown, Connecticut. Check that out. Tell them the regular Joe saying. But there's just so much stuff. If you collect stuff, you got to check those guys out. They got
Now, it's
everything
not
you want.
up for sale yet, but and I mentioned this to you guys the other day. Hot Toys put up a teaser that they're going to be making James Bond 1/6 scale figures coming out
That's
later this
interesting.
year.
That's interesting because
it was a short
Big
video that
Chief-
just said 007, but it had hashtag 1/6 scale.
Who
So-
did it?
Big Chief did a lot
Who
of
did
them.
it back before them?
Big Chief, I'll say
No,
it for
but
the
it was
third
before
time.
Big
No,
Chief.
but before that, Action Man did it.
Sideshow. Yeah,
Sideshow,
they
then
made,
Big
they
Chief,
did,
and then so it's just the license came up and they're jumping on it. That's interesting.
yeah. The Sideshow ones were okay. I mean, we've got like Mark has like the Dr. No one.
But the
You
Big
know,
Chief
they were
were a little
$80
marketed
figures.
in the
They're-
U.S.,
they're a little
right? So
pasty
this
looking.
Yeah.
this will
Yeah.
be the first ones that are marketed in the U.S. because
But those
since
Big Chief,
Sideshow.
we have, I think Goldfinger. I've got Mark Goldfinger, I think.
The Big Chief stuff is good, but not
it's-
Hot Toys level.
It's more money. Those were like $300
They are
plus
expensive,
dollars. So, I honestly, I think people who really wanted that bought them. I don't know if there's a market for them again. I mean,
But if they just do one really great figure of each Bond, that could be a cool thing to line up on the shelf.
Okay.
I don't know if they ever
okay.
did Daniel Craig.
Bond women, seriously. Okay.
You could do 1,000 of
That's
them.
what. No, but I'm saying if you
even
did
just Bond and Bond
the,
villains.
and the female lead, that's something they haven't done. Nobody's done, and
Nobody's done a 1/6 scale DB6 either.
yeah.
Ooh,
But what
could
I'm
do
saying
that.
is, I would probably buy a Tracy
Who's your
DiVincenzo
first choice?
figure.
Who?
Diana Rigg. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. Anyways, but
Solitaire.
Pussy Galore.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. I'm telling you, it's
Even Vesper Lind.
You get the Halle
and if
Berry, and then you can make
tell
your own
seriously,
custom
if you
Catwoman.
did the Bond, and that'd be a really interesting pairing.
No one does great. Well, if anyone, Hot Toys does the best female figures because no one really does them that well.
Yeah, Joe.
And they're doing the rooted hair now, so like they've got that down finally. So
Yep.
those could be really cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Before we move on, and now that we're out of the ad, EX06.
We've been out of the end.
I know that, but people were talking. EX06. I think I got
Or
this figured out.
Exo-6.
Okay.
It is pronounced XO6 definitively, by the way.
Okay. EX06. So it's I have figured out what's going on because it is totally perplexing looking at what they do, what they release when they release it. They have a 20-year plan. Okay? And they really don't want to burn through the figures that everybody wants in the first 3 years. So that's why we're getting the E-listers and the very, very obscure stuff at this point. so that they can just keep running it out for the next 20 years. That's the only thing that explains why we have Valeris when we still don't have Kirk and Spock, and why the only Monster Maroon figure so far has been Saavik. It's just
I was listening to another podcast that talks about Hot Toys, and they were saying that with these latest releases, they're already up to 40 figures.
Right. Yeah. And granted, there are 4 Spocks, and that's good, but it's like I said,
it may not be a 20-year plan, but they may have a 5 to 10-year plan. Because I've also heard that the guy that owns
have
it,
been at shows. We should
but
ask
they said
them.
that the guy that owns it has no interest in any other licenses, and once he's done with Trek, he's done and he's out. So maybe it's a 5 to 10-year plan.
But again, and I've got some obscure
ones. He's done a
good
good job.
I'll admit that, but it's really Boimer.
But before they've done any of the rest of the cast of Strange New Worlds,
and if you scroll through the pictures, she's in there too. Mariner's in there also. There's a Mariner figure.
Yeah, there's a picture of Mariner.
So that's coming. So we're going to see that before we see more Strange New Worlds cast probably. Again, this
guy's doing what he wants to do.
This guest stars thing versus the primary characters, just a really interesting strategy. And I guess they're doing a great job with the figures.
They haven't even widely released Pike yet. Like, I know he's out. Some people have him, but we haven't gotten ours yet.
I haven't got him yet, and yeah,
it's crazy. But hey, you know what? It's this one guy that owns that company, and he's doing his thing, and I'm loving watching. I won't buy most of these characters, but I love watching what he's doing.
Just while we're in commercial mode, I just do want to mention my website, FromDaysWorkshop.com. Thank you. People have followed and liked stuff, so I appreciate it. But I was going to say, I keep on saying Fanboys. From Days Workshop on Instagram and on Facebook and the website. And if you need a display of any kind or a plaque, please check me out. And I do appreciate it. I've been busy for the past 2 weeks working on people's stuff, so I appreciate that. It's going well so far, so thank you.
And Dave's been posting all kinds of cool pictures and videos and stuff, so definitely check it out.
I'm trying to post something every day. It's not that easy because we don't usually do that, but thank you. If you need anything, let me know. Okay, Fantastic Four teaser. I guess it's coming up in the Super Bowl, and they put it out today on the Marvel website. There's no such thing
everywhere.
Go on YouTube and watch it. There's no such thing as spoilers in the teaser, so we're not going to give you spoilers. I mean, they didn't show a ton, but it's very retro. That's
they showed
for sure.
what we needed to see. We needed to see what Ben Grimm looks like. That was like the number
I agree.
one thing.
I agree.
I think it's funny because people are like, if they don't get Ben right, it's screwed. He looks exactly like he does in the comics.
This is the most thing-like thing that we have ever seen, and the proportions are good. The brow ridge is great. It was great that they did that little interaction with Herbie, where you get to see him actually move and stuff like that, so it doesn't look clunky. And this is very promising. I mean, I love the mid-century modern motif to the whole thing.
Yeah,
and when we had X-Men First Class set in 1962, which was not quite 1962. It was more like a mid to late 60s 1962. This is late 50s, early 60s, 1960. So this is exciting.
On another Earth, though, clearly.
Well, again,
it's not our Earth.
But still, it's got that, retro motif that they've got. This is the World of Tomorrow kind of thing, where you go to the World's Fair and you see everything.
For sure.
What the future's going to. This is what we thought the future is going to look like in 1950. And I love the Fantastic Car in the street.
The Fantastic Car was very cool.
And just going, that little teaser of Galactus, just awesome.
That was awesome.
This needs
cool. And I don't know if it was just me. I watched this like 5 times.
Me too.
And it was The scenes that they showed in the Baxter building looked more vivid to me and almost like it was a TV show within the movie because then they were cutting to other footage and it looked more cinematic.
Remember, this is directed by the person who did WandaVision, okay? Yeah. They understand that.
But this also, they were being interviewed by somebody, so that was probably TV footage.
Right, and this is... But
and I like that it looked different.
This is somebody who understands this aesthetic, and it just works. And it's like, I hope the whole thing is as good as this. And
it's an interesting emphasis on family throughout the whole thing.
It is, but it's all they've said from the beginning that this is going to be kind of her view of things and kind of her perspective, and that's what's very, very strong for her. And so because it's her husband or her fiance, depending on what the case may be, her brother, and then the very, very close family friend.
Yep, and there's a quick shot, and I didn't pick this up myself, but I did get this off of another Facebook group or website or something. There's a shot when Reed's working on a blackboard, and there's what looks like a multiverse bridge on the blackboard, which might explain ultimately how they bridge over into all.
Oh, really? That's cool. That blackboard was cool in and of itself.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't want to be negative. You know me. I don't being negative.
Yeah. Super positive Pisani. Yeah.
Pedro Pascal looks a little too old for me.
He looks a little old, and I just wish they got rid of the mustache. It just...
But that's the other thing. Like, he's like, I can't shave the stubble and the mustache because I'm also filming the way we were, whatever that show is. Like, but why nobody in the 50s wore 60s?
No, it's just
nobody.
I will agree with that.
I don't understand why they did that, or let him do that. It made no sense
because he's filming Mandalorian and Grogu and The Last of Us all at the same time, probably.
But seriously, that's what it looked like.
Well, but unless he is the slowest facial hair grower on the planet, it doesn't take long to grow stubble back. So.
It really looked when I looked at him, it took me out of the era. And I'm like, that is so clearly not what anyone wore in the 60s.
Yeah.
Or early 60s.
I love that the robot had magnetic tape roll for eyes. Those were really cool. Yeah. And then this is a really minor thing. Towards the end of the trailer, the choir in the background of the music was singing the words Fantastic Four. It was awesome. Really good.
The graphics, everything is so evocative of the era. They just did a really good job with it. And I just hope they carry through on everything with this. We waited so long for a real good Fantastic Four interpretation. And this seems like they're going to do it. We will see.
I really hope they don't screw it up.
Fourth?
Fourth totally, yes.
You can't count the Corman one because it never really got officially released.
No, but it was made.
No, I know it was made.
It was made for a purpose. I mean, it was made as a placeholder. So, under license.
Yeah, they've really never done a good job with this.
No, they haven't. And
so,
I love where she's talking about them, and he's obviously like lamenting their state based on participating in his experiment. And, and she said, before Ben was a rock, and she said, Ben's always been a rock. I just thought that was just a great line, know, and well,
but he was also in that line, he was talking about before we went up the first time.
The first time,
clearly
yes.
gone up
they're doing
more
something
than
else,
once.
yeah. And it's like, but
they were going up again.
Yeah.
I have a hard time not seeing her as somebody foreign or European because of all the Mission Impossible thing she's in.
Yep, I had a similar thing, but
I was like, she doesn't seem right with that American accent.
Yeah, but
although in Mission Impossible, what is she, French? I don't know what she is.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I like I said, it just looks good. I was very happy with it.
It did the job that a teaser needs to do. It got us excited about it. It didn't tell us much, but it got us excited. And
little things like the uniforms all being a little different, but being of the same theme was cool because it worked for each individual character. And like I said,
we saw very little Johnny Storm.
Very little Johnny
His
Storm.
hair looks a little dyed.
We did see him fly. Every time somebody's not blonde, plays a blonde, it never quite looks right. But when he dives off the railing and flames on, it's like that's what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to look like a guy painted red. This was good.
It's funny. It looks like the early Fantastic Four comics. Remember how, like in the 70s, he was very hard line.
That's what I'm saying. Like a guy who's painted red. He was a ball of flame.
More like a ball of flame with sort of a human shape.
That's human shape is
the original
is
comics.
defined by speed. Okay, the faster he's going, the more human he's looking because the flames are swept back. This is exactly the classic kind of thing, and it's that they're paying attention to that kind of aesthetic is great. And like I said, Barry hit the nail on the head when he said it all comes down to how Ben Grimm looks. One thing we did not see. Did any of you pick up on the thing we did not see?
Silver Surfer?
No. Of the four of them, we did not see any manifestation of Reed's powers.
No.
Yeah.
That is now Ben's got to look good, but Reed can't look goofy, and that's going to be the tricky thing, and it's never quite come across well. So
he can't look like the guy from The Flash.
You can't look like the guy from. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that.
I mean, even in the Jessica Alba ones, it wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't horrible.
I mean,
but
it wasn't horrible.
They
and that's
played it for
20
laughs
years
a little
ago.
bit in that movie, and I hope that they avoid that in this. But
I will say, as power sets go, that one did not hold up over time.
The other thing that was, and I'm curious to see if it's just an homage or if it's really something more than that, but that circular stage they had them standing on with the arrows pointing at it is basically the stage that the Beatles played on during the Ed Sullivan
interesting.
Show.
So you think they're in the Ed Sullivan show?
I don't know.
Oh,
if
I'm
it's
sure
just
they
an
are.
homage to that.
I'm sure that there's something analogous to that. I mean, these are these are the first superheroes. If this world had a Captain America, they're the first superheroes since Captain America. So,
Mega Bloks just released basically a Mega Block set of the Beatles on that stage with the big arrows and cameras and lights and everything.
That's cool.
It's actually really cool.
That's cool.
I'm sure 9-year-olds or who plays with those, like 7-year-olds, are dying.
No, it's all for Beatles collectors.
Yeah, I know.
So
anyway,
good
it was cool.
Good teaser.
July 25th, I think. Yep. So
I've been waiting for this one for a long time. I always loved Fantastic Four.
We got Captain America in, as you listen to this, a week. We have then the Thunderbolts in May?
Yep.
Then this in July. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Boy, I do not get this one. I guess because of the spacing of the other two films, but this just seems like a June release. This doesn't feel like late summer, towards the middle late.
They must be avoiding something on the calendar from
I think
another
it was.
studio.
They wouldn't want cramping between as much cramping as they're going to get between the films.
Well, in theory,
but when does Superman come out?
July 1st.
So it's probably getting it out of the way of Superman.
Yeah, that could be too.
So in theory, Thunderbolt. I'm looking at when is the Thunderbolts? Is that is the summer release then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
May 2nd.
Oh, that's early. That's early then. Because if it was May, that Memorial Day.
That's why I'm saying this
weekend.
Probably under normal circumstances would have been June, but.
So while we're on the topic of Thunderbolts, it says coming out May 2nd, previously scheduled for July 26th, 2024, December 20th, 2024, and then July 25th, 2025, and then they moved it back to May.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, there's not a ton of time, so it's February, then 2 months.
You don't want to release a blockbuster during vacation season, and that's peak vacation season right
Well,
there.
it used to be. That was the thing.
But no, summer blockbusters were released in June, and then they took over the summers.
They played all summer, yeah.
They just,
that doesn't happen anymore.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They dominated the summer. So
there's a lot. This is a make or break Marvel year. If these three are good, they're back on the map. Not that they're not on the map. They're back in good standing. If there's a problem with 2 or 3 of these, they got a big problem.
I'm betting two do very, very well, and one is middling. So,
see, I wasn't even talking about box office. I was talking about just.
I meant
But
reception.
quality
I was
is
thinking in
the
terms
one
of
thing.
reception.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, do as many people care about the Fantastic Four as they do about Superman? I doubt it.
Yeah, but I also feel like people can walk in with no knowledge whatsoever, watch the Fantastic Four, and there hasn't been a Marvel film like that for a while.
I just hope they all do well, but we've got a very tricky,
Yeah.
Well, the other two movies on the Marvel calendar both require a lot of prior art to
They do.
appreciate them.
They absolutely do. Yeah.
Well, it's funny the however many 300 million people that saw Endgame should certainly tune into Captain America 4, but will they?
Yeah.
I mean, those almost have a built-in audience.
yeah.
Anyway,
We'll see.
who knows? Hopefully, they
see.
all do well. It's tough making a movie these days. Okay, who was Gandalf in this thing?
Yes,
I'm
I'm
like-
like guy with the beard. I don't know who that was supposed
Some
to be.
Gandalf-looking guy.
Dumbledore-looking guy.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
I have a theory. I'm not ready for it yet, but it's there've been a number of plots over the years about Reed trying to find his lost father, and I'm wondering whether that's what's going on. We'll see.
Well, there was a big emphasis on family in this movie,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So we all watched Star Trek Section 31. Now, I was in the worst position because both these two guys said how much it sucked. And so when I
I even
watched it, I'm
told
like,
you not to watch it.
Hey, wait,
and
wait,
then
wait,
you
wait.
were just
not
talking
gonna
about
not
Before we go
watch
here,
it.
okay. Because you're coming in late, did you like it?
I thought it was amazing. No, I don't think I could like it because I was not conditioned to like it.
No,
but
okay.
we
Even
are
if you
not
were
the only-
not conditioned,
just
you
in
couldn't have
fairness,
liked it.
We
It
are
was
not
terrible.
the only two people in the universe
I know.
who
The internet hates this thing.
I haven't read a thing about it, but I mean,
It's
it
got
was
19% tomato meter and 16% popcorn.
I
meter.
didn't look at any of that, but it really had nothing to do with Section 31. And the Section 31 things that we've seen, let's even take Discovery off the table. There's been some interesting stuff, sort of this covert spy, like weird. This was
Minute for minute, there was almost no
Okay,
Section
this-
31 in this thing called Section 31.
If you
Yeah, there was
if
nothing.
you were looking at antecedents for this thing, this is far closer. This is like they were
there's spoilers, by the way.
trying to make Guardians of the Galaxy, but they ended up with the first Suicide Squad. Okay, a bunch of people thrown together illogically, okay, whose skills did not fit the needs whatsoever. And
Yeah.
built around like a ridiculous MacGuffin, and it's just it makes no sense. It's just it's
It had nothing. Yeah.
It was a pilot for a series they're never going to make. Partly because
I don't even think it was a pilot.
oh they,
was it?
they swung back in the direction to leave the door open, which was just silly because they should have at that point realized how badly
There
they
was no.
But they knew Michelle Yeoh signed on for it before she won her Oscar, and remember this was originally going to be a series.
Yeah.
And then they scaled it down to a single film, and I was relieved when I first turned it on, and so it was only an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it felt like a pilot for a
It
series.
was. I mean, there's no purpose for this elite covert group to have pulled off this.
Okay,
do this mission.
Okay, so let's talk about elite covert group. For starters,
No, I'm saying
No,
if
but
it
I'm
was
saying, okay,
if there was a real
for starters,
it wasn't elite.
Section
It
31,
was a covert group, but they weren't elite.
okay.
and they weren't even covert.
This show, this adventure, whatever you want to say, takes place 70 years after the events of Discovery Season 2. Okay?
It
Yes.
did. How did we know that?
We knew that because we read the Wikipedia entry with all the information from Paramount. Okay.
Wait, where did we leave Giorgio?
She went back. The Guardian of
She went in the Guardian
of Forever, which is now a guy in a bowler hat, sent her back in time,
Carl.
but apparently missed and dropped her 70 years ahead of where she was left. No one.
But guess what? They don't tell you
no
that.
one questions
But
that.
we didn't know that in
Okay.
in the Discovery. Did we know that?
The established year, okay, from Paramount for this film is 2324. The last year of Disco was 2259. Okay?
Is that why Rachel Garrett was able to
Because
be in
this
it? Because I
is-
was trying to
this
figure
is
that
20 years before the Battle of Narada 3, where she dies. Okay? So,
So Rachel Garrett pilot is the captain of the Enterprise C,
yes.
which
Right.
is sort of
From yesterday's
pre-
Enterprise, which was season 3,
Pre-
episode 15
So
of Star
basically,
Trek Next Generation.
Next Generation.
That's how they crapped on a great Next Generation episode. Okay? They also managed to...
But can I just say something up?
Sure.
Interrupt for a second. Part of the problem with this, and there's a lot of problems with it, but one of the problems is they didn't do anything to set this thing up.
No.
Really. And I ended up going and reading some stuff, like it sounds like you did too,
Yep.
just to figure out where the hell this took place. And I didn't remember where we left Giorgio. They could have been an extra 5 minutes of setup on this, or some type of dialogue that explained to you where she was, when this takes place. It made it even harder to understand because
It
they
made
didn't
a
do
big
anything.
deal
And those
about
little Jamie Lee Curtis
the bar she
data
ran.
updates that they gave you right out of Escape to New York, they could have explained things. So
There was lots of other exposition in this
that's
thing.
what I'm saying. They could have
they really could have just explained, like, we knew more about the bar she owned or
Yeah.
ran or whatever than any, like, what it was.
Okay, so anyways, they worked these things in which were references to other iterations of Star Trek, and every single thing cheapened the thing that it associated with. Okay, Deltans, okay, are not what we thought Deltans, because again, this one clearly did not take the vow of chastity. Okay, the Charon guy was Virgil from the bar. Okay, there were supposed to be 2 survivors left of Charon. In Let This Be Your Last Battlefield. Apparently, This guy's in a bar 70 years later. It's
But if we could just go back to the Deltan for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe the most interesting character of that whole group, and they kill her in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I was texting Todd while I was watching. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
They kill the hot Deltan chick in the first 10 minutes of the movie?
Like, here's this person whose basically superpower, okay, is having these hormones that allow her to control, people. And she's like playing it up instead of being subtle. There was no subtlety in this entire thing.
Oh, there's nothing.
God, no.
It's like, again, this was like a Suicide Squad movie. Okay, it's like, oh, let's bring the crazed woman with the giant hammer. There's nothing she can actually do, but it would be interesting to look at. Why? Okay, if you're going to transfer the most dangerous device that existed in another universe, do you take it to the place where the one person who knows what it is would be? Okay. Why would you?
Maybe they didn't know that she was there, but
Okay,
still.
but if they didn't know she was there, okay, the guy from the other universe with the implants in his head, I forget what his name was, does not recognize the person who was the emperor of his universe. It's like, oh, surprise, he's from
and
this-
if you've got the most dangerous weapon in the universe, why are you carrying around essentially in a bowling
a
ball?
bowling ball bag. It's
And that guy, that Halo-looking guy, that uniform was ridiculous.
okay, yes. But the other thing I would say about this, okay, so she has time jumped 70 years because of Guardian Forever's involvement. why is San, her former lover, friend, betrayed,
Still alive.
the same age as she is? Okay.
I didn't know it was 70 years.
You're overthinking it.
No,
You
but I'm
clearly
saying
can't
it's like
think this hard about it.
But it's just like,
They could have just called this Giorgio and been like, it's a story about her.
Yeah.
It had
but like
nothing to do with Section
again,
31.
You've got
Nothing.
a covert team with a sexy Delton, okay, a guy in a ridiculous mech suit, okay, which doesn't seem to make you that much more powerful than the average Vulcan. A guy in a Vulcan suit, okay, a guy.
That was the only cool thing.
Yes,
the little
but,
guy
okay,
driving the robot.
Sure it was. It
but-
absolutely was. But why is he disguised as a blonde Vulcan who smiles excessively and speaks
And has
with an
a-
Irish accent?
And speaks like
And
the
has
Lucky
an
Charms
Irish
leprechaun.
accent.
It's like oh, because that won't attract attention. It's like
Well, and again, spoiler alert. At the end of it, now he's a cowboy. Vulcan.
it's again. He's gonna. It's oh my god. Oh my. And did you know who
That was maybe the least the thing you could not redeem in any way was his accent.
When he's remotely controlling the suit, he acts wooden and clearly off, which that was a callback, and it was explained. Except when he's fighting the other dude, and then he's like, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. He was on autopilot, but fully able to do whatever. It just was really
And I
bad.
texted Todd. I thought the most creative thing in the entire thing was the name of the device. Was it God's End or
was it God's End?
You never really know.
It's like yeah, just absolutely. The other thing too, okay. So now we had to reinforce the fact that Giorgio is very bad, okay, and it's a woman, so they can't have her, they can't give her a beard, so they've got to do something to show that she's a bad guy. So they have her win the Hunger Games and then kill her entire family, okay, and then maim her best
kill her
friend.
family to win the Hunger Games.
That's right, okay, and then maims her best friend and enslaves him, okay. Yet this is a person who formed such a sentimental attachment to Michael Burnham that she couldn't kill someone who looked like her. It's like,
But then she also, when her spurned lover / slave comes back, she's ready to get right back with him.
oh yeah, it's like, hey,
If she's really
It just
that
was
bad of a
really-
character,
It was really bad.
it was all over the place. And the Quasi guy, what was his power? He could turn into spaghetti?
no, he is the
He's a shapeshifter.
From Undiscovered Country, who was Iman, who's that's the same.
Okay.
Same.
Well, the effect looked like he turned into Spaghetti
Yeah,
Man. and
Well,
then
that's
turned
but
back.
they never really used it though.
no, they didn't.
He turned
Well,
into people
and-
at the
and-
end, but
How did it end? I really didn't even understand the ending. What did they do with the godsend?
They pushed
send
it. They
where?
pushed it into
They
the
sent
wormhole
it
and
into
it blew up the.
there was the wormhole between the universes, and they blew up the wormhole
Okay.
so that you couldn't travel between universes.
Stupid. It was all stupid.
Unless
was
you
Jamie
go
Lee
through,
Curtis
unless you
showing
go
up at
through a
the end?
wormhole like in Deep Space Nine.
As if we need to be reminded of one of the worst movies in the past 20 years. Again, awful.
I don't understand how this got released. Like, they should have looked at this and said, yeah, maybe we just won't release it.
Somehow a room full of people agreed to this. Okay. So one of the other things too. Okay, the Jamie Lee Curtis character is Control. Okay.
Which I also didn't remember that character.
The season 2 storyline from Discovery was defeating Control. So 70 years later,
Who would remember that?
but that was the plot of this show that this Giorgio was in. So that they left the galaxy in order to they went into the future in order to defeat this out of control AI, and that's what they named the person in charge of Section 31, an augmented person who they now call her Control.
I thought she was a Borg. I didn't
That's what I
realize it was
texted Todd. I'm like, she's supposed to be a Borg?
God.
What's the deal? So, Todd, you'll appreciate this. The best thing I saw written about this, which is a throwback to Trouble with Tribbles, said, I didn't say Section 31 should be hauling garbage. I said Section 31 should be hauled away as garbage.
Yeah,
There you go.
the the using the garbage scow thing was like, okay, it's appropriate for this because it's,
That was a deep cut, though, like that they didn't explain.
And then, like, finding a kid's toy with a malfunctioning power source and turning that into
yeah. Just ridiculous.
It was awful. I thought Discovery was bad. This takes it to another
Discovery
level
was
of bad.
never this bad. Okay.
Well, Discovery was bad in that it lasted so much longer in those final.
And like I said, they wasted all the time and all these things. I will tell you, Discovery was never as bad as this. This is.
It just had no point. It had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. I don't understand.
And yet there are people on the internet saying how much they love it. Most people are saying how it was terrible, but there are people that
I read a
What do they
forum
love about it?
and somebody called out a bunch of people and called them misogynists because they just hated it because it had a female lead. And I was just sitting there like, really? That's where you're going with this?
Come on. I like Michelle Yeoh a lot, and this is beneath her.
Honestly,
despite her doing
yes,
that crappy.
Giorgio
totally
was an
beneath her.
interesting character. Okay? And they did some good stuff with her. They did good stuff with both versions of Giorgio. Okay?
They could have done a whole
This was
backstory of
not
her, and then
good or interesting. And, I just, like I said, I don't understand. I do not understand how you got a room full of people at Paramount to sit down and say, oh, let's do this. They spent a fair amount of money on this.
Well, that's the one thing I will say. It looked good.
Oh, yeah, it did.
I didn't think it looked bad at all. I just think it was bad.
yeah,
They
it
spent
was-
money on it.
I mean, they did put money. I feel like they're like, oh, we have her. She's an Oscar winner. We got to keep moving forward. But you could have done a lot with her.
It's also,
You could have
I'm
done a
also
lot of-
wondering, because is she listed as an exec? She's not listed as like a producer or writer or anything like that.
You think it was her idea?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if this is the direction she wanted to see this go in. I don't,
But Section 31 was like this whole thing of this, this spy
but we
organization.
saw that
that
in Discovery.
and this was none of that. It was.
Well,
so
we've
none
even
of that.
seen Section 31 all the way back to DS9.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I mean,
it's-
it would have been interesting to see that expanded plot of how she become emperor if it was done better, and then what she's doing now and
Right.
something interesting. But it just
if
went
you
the
just
wrong
stop for a second and think about the fact that they are aware of the existence of a device that can destroy the entire galaxy, and this is who they sent to stop them. Think about that.
way. Someone who had to recruit, not knowing if she would do it,
And again,
also knowing that
this is
she's
but this
one
is
of the
the
most
crew that
evil
they put
people in
together
the
to
universe.
do this. Like I said, I think the best analogy is the first Suicide Squad film, where it is totally illogical, but it's like
You couldn't send the Enterprise B
it's
or whoever. You couldn't send Cameron. Is he
and
floating
again,
around out
this,
there? Is
this
that
dude is just walking around with this thing, as Barry put it, in a bowling ball bag, and it's like, yeah, the
All right,
phase
well,
thing, the phase thing that she used was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I saw somebody commented, "Oh, magically it only works on walls but not floors."
Yeah,
She should have been
that's
falling
actually
through
a
the floor.
really good point. She should have just like fallen into space as soon as she turned
Yeah.
the thing on.
it's got the ghost principle of ghosts can walk through walls, but they don't fall through
Yeah,
the floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
It's just bad.
it's
Don't
bad.
watch it, people. We've warned you.
Don't watch it. The worst Star Trek ever?
well, with no question, the worst Star Trek movie ever. I mean, oh boy, I would have to like rewatch Spock's Brain or something.
Oh, Spock's Brain is fun because it's just
It is
stupid.
stupid.
I mean,
But
is
it's
this
fun.
story worse than Star Trek V?
It is. It is. No, Star Trek V. It's just outside of the whole thing is outside of the grasp the whole time.
But Star Trek V is at least fun because we love the characters in it. This, we don't even love the characters in it. So
Yeah.
That's
And they
that
just
is
everyone's
misguided.
misused.
That's misguided.
Doesn't make sense.
This has no guidance whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, all right. If you saw it, let us know what you think. If you like it,
tell us.
I guess,
tell
let
us
us
where,
know. I
where
don't
you
know.
disagree with us
yeah, that's
and
fine.
everybody else on the internet.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay, let's go what's in the box.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Todd, what's in the box?
Okay, what's in the box is a Daredevil helmet that I can actually fit on my head.
Wow.
And it's because I got a big honking head. This is
What's it made out
This
of?
is plastic. It's pretty much
It's
like
hard.
the It's like the other Marvel helmets, but it's a little softer material, and it's actually very, very cool. And this is on the Disney site.
Can we screenshot this?
Yeah, I got
Go
it.
for
I
it.
got it.
Because we should post this. It's just
everybody
a
smile.
little
Everybody
too
smile.
big.
It's got to fit people's heads.
All right, got it.
So it is just a little too big, but it's.
But does it do anything? Is there any electronics? or
No,
anything?
you can see through the eyes. That's about it.
Oh, there you go. No,
I
think
will
it's
say
cool.
it's very cleverly designed in that the little side panels in the back are stretchy and expansive, and it's not. It doesn't adjust; they stretch so that it fits snug. So like it's not
that's
like
cool.
That's a good
adjust
idea.
it. It actually makes it stretchy to stay on your head. I really like this thing.
I looked for it, and it was not on DisneyShop.com anymore.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's the only place selling it.
That's where I'm really glad you gave me a heads up. I bought it immediately when you said it. It showed up at a couple other places that said that it was for sale, but I imagine it probably went quick, as all their stuff does. Like I said, super pleased with it. I bought a couple others of these and returned them that just were not that well made. One of the horns was inverted. This is cool, and it's very, very accurate, and I'm super pleased to get it. So thanks for the heads up on that.
Cool. Good. Barry, what do you got?
I'm going to do a quick twofer. I don't think I ever showed you guys this. I've had this for a little while. This is the Regal Robot Weequay concept maquette. It's really cool, like all their concept maquettes. It's got a rooted ponytail.
Hair, yeah.
Very cool. It was a numbered edition. They did a signature edition of this, but it sold out super quick, and I never got that one. But what they recently released, they had Ken Ralston, who sculpted these, go back and do sketches to go along with it. And so I have the sketch edition of Weequay with a signed plaque, and he did a sketch. I won't really describe the sketch, but it's very appropriate for my tastes and what we were just talking about. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But really cool, and the sketches that they've been doing have been kind of all over the map, like everything from basic pencil sketches to this one is done in ink with color, and it's really, really well done. So
Yeah.
And I have another one of Ken's sketches, so this is like a perfect match to go with that one. So very happy that I got that, and I think this is also sold out. These are all sold out now, but cool. A nice
Sketches are
additions
cool,
to my growing Regal Robot maquette collection. So
Nice.
It's
Cool.
sold out.
So Dave, what's in the box?
So we talked about this, I think we mentioned last week, but I have the Hot Toys Deadpool figure. And I literally just opened. He still has some of the plastics. This, I guess, is the deluxe figure because it comes with everything. Todd has it also. It comes with everything. So it's got him with all his stuff. He's got his Desert Eagles, even with the tiny inscribed muzzle that says "Smile, wait for the flash," and it's got a little Deadpool logo in the magazine. It comes with Dog Pool. It comes with, I guess, is his baby pool,
head pool.
There's head. Is that head pool?
Pool's
Is that
in
the
there.
other one? There's some zombie head. There's a ton of hands. There's swords. There's different eyes that magnetize in there. Right? They pop out. I haven't popped. Oh, there we go. There's him without an eye, and they magnetize.
Oh, that's like the way they do the Spider-Man eyes. Those are cool.
Yeah.
This is a great figure.
It's really cool.
This is really well done. I would say one of the things,
And I think it's their third attempt at it, and from what I've been hearing from people, they're saying this is definitely the best version yet.
one of the things
Oh, it's
that
got
they
everything.
did right in this versus some like the Spider-Man figures and stuff like that, and definitely the first Daredevil figure, is the suit fits looser over the figure that's underneath, so that like he actually holds a pose and it doesn't feel like you're damaging the suit when you bend it. There's a little play between the fabric and the figure, whereas on previous ones, it's fit so tight that the fabric stretches, and here it
Well, it's interesting because I was looking. Even it's hard to see on this, but so the head, it's got fabric wrinkles
Yeah.
on the neck. That's hard plastic. Those are sort of
Right,
sculpted
right.
in to make it look
Yep.
like it, so that you tell
they
he's
did, like I
in
said, they've done a
fabric.
really good job with that, and so, but like I said, if you see the arm and stuff, there's
Yeah.
some looseness to the fabric, so that when you, like I said, you bend the elbows and stuff like that, it looks like the elbows are bent in a.
And that's what it looks like in the
That's
movie.
what I'm
and
saying.
stuff.
It's just it's
like he's wearing a
not
costume,
like his
not just
body
some.
painted. So
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's cool. It's a nice figure. I'm very much looking forward to Wolverine. I think they'll go great together. And if they have Elektra, I'll certainly get that one because how can you not have a Jennifer Garner
that's
figure?
right. We waited years for that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's in the box. Okay. Like I said, next week, fun location. We're going to do something different. It'll be probably all over the place a bit. We'll see, but you'll listen when you get there. It could be long. It could be short. It could be 2 shows. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But we're going to a fun place.
We're going somewhere cool that's going to generate some fun content for the show. Let's just leave it.
Or really fun for us, and we'll just bring it
yeah.
along.
The content for
as
the show
they
is
say,
secondary.
now for something completely different. So
Yeah. So check us out next week.
And we get to hang out together this weekend.
And we
which
get
is
to
gonna
hang
be
out
awesome.
together. The 5 of us, the 5 regular Joes, will be together from all parts of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Which should be fun. So check us out next week. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
thanks for listening.